lot of artists either overwork their details or their painting just kind of feels unfinished, and I'm going to show you how to find the perfect balance. We are going to refine your portrait, start adding some opaque colors, really mix expressive flesh tones, and add the highlights to really make it pop. The whole beauty of abstract realism is leaving those unrefined, messy parts and letting that shine through your painting. So having a good combination of both, knowing what to paint over and knowing what to leave as is. I'm gonna start with the background now because a lot of this, there's still the white of the canvas. Now it's totally dry, so I'm gonna go over it with another light kind of wash just to stain the white. So it doesn't really matter what color you use, choosing just a super light color like a gray. And it will activate some of that mark making, but I'm not too worried about it now because, you know, it served its purpose. Now I really want the portrait to stand out a bit more from the background, so I'm gonna go in with just kind of a creamy white color. I don't mix a lot of just plain white acrylic. I think that can be very boring and flat, so if you just mix a little bit of another color in there, it will give it life. So you can try this dry brushing technique where you just drag your brush across and you can still see a little bit of what's underneath. You can also scumble with it, just using the side of the brush. And that way you're still keeping some of that abstraction. If you're not sure which areas need this light, you can do a combination of chiaroscuro, so you can apply light next to a dark and that will pop it forward, and then you can add dark next to a light. So that's one way. If you're just really stuck on the background and you don't know what to do, you can try chiaroscuro. Around the hairline, I think it's always a good idea to just make that really fuzzy and not too harsh. So you want to pay attention to your edges. Like this right here, that's a little bit harsh, and I'm just going to blend that a little bit. So that's going to give your painting more depth if you create some very soft, hazy edges in the background, and then wherever you want the focal point to be, so probably her eyes, her lips, you know, something on the face, then you can pay attention to creating more crisp, clean lines that will pop forward. And that's how you can create depth in an acrylic painting. So I'm gonna start adding some flesh tones and details. So when you go to place your brush strokes, you really want them to go with the form that you're seeing. So they're not just random brush strokes that are going random ways. You really wanna feel those plane shifts. Right here on her cheekbone, you can imagine that's, you know, coming forward. So that is a plane shift right there. And it's really where like a dark meets a light. So as the shadows and everything shifts around, that's where you can find those plane shifts. When you add those midtones first, and then you go on top with a highlight, it'll really come forward and pop and give it more depth there. That is the whole purpose of working kind of dark to light and just waiting and being patient to add those final highlight details. To create a portrait that's exciting and not boring, you got to add some of that bright color in there. You can kind of place like an orange next to a blue. That's going to create some contrast, and mixing other colors into your white. That will really help you. I'm just gonna spend the last couple minutes adding some final details. You can step back from your painting and see what it needs. I think that always helps getting a fresh perspective. I'm gonna use this round brush, just the very tip of it, to get some really fine details. This eye is not finished and the nose needs a little bit. So I'm going in with some darks just to create a little bit more contrast. While you guys are finishing your piece, really think about the edges, because that is one of the key factors in making your piece feel finished, is just look at the edges, make sure you have variety, and having some more bold brush strokes, and then also a combination of like some more softened blended areas and crisp, clean edges. So just a good variety of everything, and your painting will feel a lot more finished. All right, so you have just seen a small piece of what's possible with abstract realism. This lesson really has it all. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time.